Welcome to the Who Knew podcast with Bruce Lubin. I'm Jennifer Boudneau, the editor of the Who Knew books. Today, we're going to talk about the big game on Sunday, including tips for food, partying, and more. And of course, there's our usual tip from thepennyhoarder.com and our life hack lightning round. Hey, Bruce.
Hello, Jen. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm great. So do we have to call the big game? Can we say the Super Bowl, or will we get...
Yeah, I think you just have to pay $1 million just for saying that. We're supposed to say there's a big game on Sunday. We'll leave it up to you guys to figure out which big game we might be talking about. And if you want to hashtag that, make sure you hashtag it big game, because if you hashtag it with the name of the actual game, then... I mean, I guess if you're just a person doing it, they won't charge you, but if you're...
I guess we'll find out. Super Bowl. No, I guess we'll
find out. You can't say it. Pretty soon, what else are people going to own? Like, we're not going to be able to say Christmas and Halloween. It's going to be like, Reese's Peanut Butter Cup Halloween.
Exactly.
And if you don't say it that way, then you have to pay extra money. That's how it's going to end up. But first, we have our tip from pennyhoarder.com, also about the big game.
All right, let's hear it.
Hey everybody, it's Justin from thepennyhoarder.com. I'm here with today's Money Hack. The big game is upon us, and whether you're throwing a party for 1 or 50, we have some tips to help you save on it. Check out the dollar store for paper supplies and decor, or find free printables online if you're the DIY type. Most traditional football snacks are already cheap, but if your party's large enough, you can save even more buying items like ketchup, mayo, mustard, and even salsa in bulk. You can also enlist your friends to bring an appetizer or dessert, or even make it a BYOB night. And should you live in a participating area, make sure to save your empty beer bottles and cans to get your deposit back, because every penny counts.
I am not a huge sports fan. You know this about me. I mean, I don't mind watching a game every now and then, even a big game. But for this particular big game, for me, it's just basically about food. I will happily sit in the corner and stuff my face and pretend to be watching sports if it means that I can intake twice the amount of calories that I'm supposed to in a day with a good excuse.
That's what the big game is for. Write that in the commercials, even if you don't like the game.
So I'm hoping you have food tips for us today. Big game food tips.
All right, so let's start with wings, because everyone has wings. Well, but for the big game. So what you want to do with your chicken wings is you want to put some coarse salt on them and place them uncovered in the refrigerator overnight.
Before you cook them.
Yep, that'll get them sort of dried. It seems sort of counterintuitive that you want to let them dry out, but you do, because you want them really crispy. Right?
Yeah, that's for the...
And so that's exactly what you do to make them like...
I love crispy buffalo wings.
Recipe.
And then make sure to put the sauce on after you cook them. You make that delicious sauce. You always want to slather it on first, but then they won't be crispy that way.
So, and if you're making hot dogs, the easiest way to do it is to just throw them in a slow cooker with no water or no anything. Just put them on low for like about 4 hours.
Yes. And I've seen pictures of this online. You can make 1 million hot dogs that way. If you stand the hot dogs up on end in the slow cooker, you can fit like literally
1 million?
50 to 1 million hot dogs in there.
So if you're having anywhere from 50 to 1 million guests,
that's the way you should be making your hot dogs.
What I always make for this super big game, there I go, is chili. And
I love
chili. What you do is use inexpensive meat, right? That's like sort of the thing about chili. But what you want to do,
or whatever it's called, right?
The day before, just soak it in beer.
Oh, I bet that's really tasty.
It's fantastic. And then just let it marinate overnight, then use your whatever recipe you have. But that's a great way to impart some flavor.
I've got one for when you were talking about buffalo wings. I thought of this. It's a condiment, sour cream. I always like to serve my buffalo wings. If you don't have blue cheese, sour cream is the next best thing. So this is a Who Knew tip I love, where if you add a little bit of white vinegar to your sour cream as soon as you open it, then it lasts way longer. So if you're just buying sour cream to use for the big game, then you can keep the sour cream for much longer. Just add a little bit of vinegar beforehand.
Right, and you use like a teaspoon for a little container, or sometimes up to 2 tablespoons for like 16 ounces.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about it. We mentioned beer before, so I'm going to give you another beer tip. So if you've got half, empty beers, when all your guests...
That's me, yeah.
When they all leave, what you want to do... And this is sort of frat house, but kind of gross.
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
You're going to pour them all into a bucket. You're going to let them sit for a day or two. And then you're going to use them in your potted plants once they're flat.
Yes, they make good fertilizer.
They do indeed. They do indeed.
I've done that before.
How about that?
What about burgers and sliders? Do you have anything for burgers?
There's,
I know you have. This is a setup because I know you have burgers.
Hell yes. Can I say hell yes to that?
You can't say, you can say hell. You can't say the name of the game.
No, of course not. That would be awkward. There's a bunch of tips we have for hamburgers on our site. One of my favorites would be that to keep them from breaking apart when you grill them, what you want to do is just put them in the freezer about 5 minutes before you grill them. Right?
Because it saves a lot of money to make your own hamburger patties yourself. Mm-hmm. You can buy them at the store in patty form, but they're a lot more expensive that way.
That's exactly right. So
you should be doing that.
And when you're making them, if you wash your hands with cold water, it will help shape them into hamburger patties, and it won't get stuck on your hands.
So, are you having a Super Bowl party this year? Or
I always
are you going
have a Super Bowl party.
I know you guys love. I know your boys love the Super Bowl. Mm-hmm. The year that the Giants were playing, I remember they all painted their faces and everything. Are they as into it this year? Well, who's playing this year?
Well, in our alternative facts world, the Giants have won already. So that's what we're saying. Here's who's playing.
The Giants have always won in our hearts, haven't they?
In my heart, absolutely.
Maybe not technically, like where
the Packers are playing, of course, and then we're rooting for the non-Packers. Well,
I'm from the Midwest. I might have to root for the Packers. I'm a Bears fan, and the Bears hate the Packers, but so I don't know who I'm supposed to root for. I root for the food. I really do.
Root for the food and the commercials and the halftime show.
I've actually thought of having a Super Bowl party just because I like parties and food. And the Super Bowl really is the holiday of overeating. I mean, Thanksgiving, I guess, is the holiday of overeating, but Super Bowl is number 2.
Oh, yeah.
But it's like I don't really follow football, so I can't really have a Super Bowl party. But if I were to have a Super Bowl party, any tips for partying in general?
Well, I think for people like you who are not really into it, presumably you're going to have people that really want to watch it. What you should do is, if you have 2 TVs, is set both of them up. And so one is like in the living room for the serious fans, and one is elsewhere where people just want to hang out.
I like that. That's me. I would be at the alternate TV. That's a really good tip. I was thinking more like, I thought you were going to tell me to like use a hamper as an extra garbage can. Because
that's a great tip too.
That is actually a Who Knew tip.
Because if you need extra, you know what? I think you're poking fun at that Who Knew tip, and I want to tell you why you want to do that. So if you need an extra garbage can, what you want to do?
I just know you all too well. I know where your mind's at. You're like, you need a garbage can, grab that hamper.
Doesn't? Grab that hamper, put a bag in it, and off you go. That's exactly right. Also, if you're serving, you want a long table and you don't own a long table, get card tables, like the square ones.
Yeah.
And just keep them together using empty coffee cans.
You're going to laugh, but I actually have multiple card tables because as I tell people I live in Brooklyn, I don't actually have a table. I don't have like a kitchen table or a dining room table. Because I don't know. Whatever.
To GoFundMe for your table. That's
I don't want a table. I only have so much room, and I eat on my lap anyway. I'm like a TV eater. So I actually do have a couple card tables, and I like that to keep the
That's right. You
together.
Keep them together using coffee cans. Just put the legs in coffee cans.
One tip I think is really cute that you've written about in the past is using containers for 6-packs, like 6-pack of beer.
Yep.
Except that you can put a bunch of condiments in it, and that's kind of cute for a table. And it's handy. You can move it around, so you put your ketchup in there and your mustard and whatever else. You can even put plastic utensils in there. You can put napkins or whatever.
All of it. Exactly right. That's a great tip. Yep.
Well, you guys wrote it, so.
Well, and I keep going back to beer. I don't know why that is, but
because it's the big game.
It is the big game, TM. Oh no, I'm sorry. The other one's the TM, right? So if you have a cooler and you want to get your beer or your soda, whatever it is, really cold, what you want to do is put your drinks in there, put water and salt.
Oh yes,
and ice,
this is a tip that we have told people before with how to keep your drinks. But it's important, and you guys should all commit it to memory, and then we won't have to tell you anymore.
So you fill your cooler with salt and ice and water, and the salt will actually bring the temperature of the water down below freezing, like a really cold lake.
Yeah.
And so your beer or whatever will get really cold in just a matter of minutes.
You mean the ocean? Lakes are freshwater. You mean a really cold ocean to bathe your beer in?
Well, but some freshwater lakes, just some of them have a little salt in them, so they feel really, really cold, below 32 degrees. Right?
Yeah. No, I love that tip, and it's also fast too. If people bring warm beer. Also, if your cooler is stinky, you can just use vanilla. Put a little bit of vanilla. I love the smell of vanilla, so I'll use any tip that has vanilla involved. But you just put a little bit of vanilla on a paper towel or a cotton ball and use that to rub out your cooler, and it disinfects with the alcohol, and it smells awesome.
That's a great tip. So I think we've covered all the best tips for the big game. Drinking, food, and your cooler.
I have a couple more.
What else you got?
Now, this will surprise you because I know you and Jeannie wrote this post thinking of New Year's DIY noisemakers. If you guys want to make some noisemakers, search Who Knew DIY noisemakers and you'll find post. There's some fun stuff on how to make a party horn with a little cardboard tube and wax paper, and it's just, some easy ways to make noise. Because, if the kids are there, that's what they want to do.
That's right. They want to make noise. They want to make noise. Should we do some more? You want to?
You have any more? Let's do one more.
All right, let's talk about burgers again. One more burger tip.
Yeah.
So
we can't have too many burger tips.
No, you can't. What you want to do is let them go up to room temperature, your burgers, before you grill them. That's a great way to keep them juicy. Because if you grill them when they're really, really cold, the way the water in it dissipates is much too fast. So just let them stay at room temperature for 45 minutes, and then you grill away. And
that's a good one.
Should we go to our lightning round?
I love the lightning round.
What do you think?
So what did Jeannie write down for us today? For those who are unfamiliar, the Life Hack Lightning Round is where we take a household object and we name as many things as we can with that household object. And the person who has the most wins. What is it today?
Today it is potatoes.
Ooh, potatoes.
Potatoes. Oh, we've got lots of stuff for potatoes.
Oof, potatoes.
Well, I'm going to go first.
All right, you go first.
Can I go first?
Yeah,
I got one right. So when you store potatoes, you never want to store them with onions. Because they
You used that one when we did onions for the Life Hack Lightning Round.
Well, because it's an important one, so we have to reiterate that. Because both of them will change the texture of the other. So you can cook them together, but you never want to store them together.
Yeah.
So there you go.
That is a good tip. Okay, potatoes. Potatoes are really good for kids' crafts. You can make a stamp with a potato pretty easily. So you just get out a little knife and you can cut a star into a potato or whatever, cut it in half and then cut into it. And they're really good for keeping your kids entertained. Dip them in paint.
You know what else they're great for? If you break a light bulb off and half of it's in the outlet.
This is such a good one.
Cut a potato in half and jam it against the broken bulb and then twist it.
If you break a bulb
that's right.
trying to unscrew it, you don't want to touch all of the broken shards of glass, so you just shove a potato up in there.
Exactly right.
Great.
Do you have any others? Because I got another one.
I have someone making potatoes. So if you're making potatoes and you're peeling them and you don't want them to turn brown,
this is good.
Then you can soak them in water and vinegar.
Yep. And
then they will stay white, and then it doesn't really affect the flavor. So your kids helped you peel a bunch of potatoes, if you're lucky, for mashed potatoes, and you don't want them all to go brown, then just soak them in water and vinegar, and they will stay white till you're ready to use them.
Excellent.
I think that might be my last potato.
Well, then I think I'm going to win because you just gave me an idea.
No, wait, I thought of one.
So when you're peeling your potatoes, the best way to do it, the easiest way to clean them up, because they go all over the place, is line your sink with old newspaper. Peel the potatoes there, then you just have to clean the newspaper, throw it out, no fuss, no muss.
That's a nice one.
Potato skins are gone. How about that?
I was going to say, if you're boiling potatoes, save the potato water, and then you can use it to water your plants. That's good fertilizer.
That's a great way to water your plants.
With the starch, the plants love the starch and the nutrients. That really was my last potato.
But I have one more.
Okay, what's yours?
Acne. So potatoes have been shown to be very effective treating acne. So all you need to do is just cut a piece of a potato, put it up against the offending blemish, and it'll really
dries it out.
With
all that starchy water.
Is that it? Do I think I am declared the winner?
Yes,
of the lightning round?
I hereby declare the winner of the lightning round. Gosh, I'm going to have to up my game. All right, so thank you so much for listening to us today. For these tips and more, visit quickanddirtytips.com/whoknew, where you can find all of these tips and many more. Thank you, as always, to Quick and Dirty Tips for producing our podcast. And take a look for us out on Facebook, Pinterest, Twitter, Instagram, or anywhere else you happen to be on the internet. Just search Who Knew Tips and you can find our daily tips. And if you love our podcast as much as we love doing our podcast, Please review us on iTunes, Stitcher, or whatever you get your podcasts. Doing reviews helps people find us and make sure we can keep bringing this to you every other week.
And we're so shallow, we want those reviews.
Yeah, we live for them. We put them under our pillow, and that's how we sleep at night.
Yes, we do.
Thanks, Bruce, and thanks for everyone listening. Jen. We'll see you next time.